Rumpelstiltskin, a Fairy Tale. Once upon a time there lived a poor miller who had a beautiful daughter. One day the king sent for him. Having never stepped into a palace, the miller was overwhelmed. In an attempt to impress the king, he said, "I have a daughter who can spin gold out of straw." The king asked the miller to bring her the next day. The next day, the king led the miller's daughter to a room full of straw and said, "If this straw is not spun into gold between tonight and dawn tomorrow, you must die." The king locked the miller's daughter and left. Overcome with fright, the poor girl wept inconsolably. Suddenly, she heard a click in the locked door. The door flew open and in walked a quaint little man carrying a wand. He wore white trousers and a coat with red polka dots, a white cap with a feather stuck in it. He said, "Pretty Miss Miller, what makes you weep so much?" The miller's daughter said, "I am supposed to spin all this straw into gold by dawn. If I don't I will die and I don't know spinning." The quaint man said, "I will do it, but what will you give me in return?" "My necklace," she said. The quaint man took the necklace and spun the whole night. By dawn, he filled the room with gold and vanished. Filled with greed at the sight of so much gold, the king ordered the miller's daughter to spin more gold by next dawn with the same threat of death. The miller's daughter again sat and sobbed. The quaint little man appeared and finished spinning the entire straw into gold before dawn. This time the miller's daughter gave him her ring in return for the favor. At dawn break, the man disappeared. A little later, the king came in. He became very greedy at the sight of the room filled with gold. He thought, "She may be a poor miller's daughter, but if I marry her, I will get the richest wife in the world." The king then led her into a bigger room with more straw, and this time he did not threaten her. Instead, he said, "Spin this into gold and you shall be my queen. I will come tomorrow morning." And he left her. The poor girl was desperate. When the quaint man demanded something in return for helping her, she had nothing to offer. "Not one to give up," he said, "then, promise me that if you become the queen, you will give me your first child." The miller's daughter thought that becoming a queen was a distant dream. Without a second thought, she agreed to the demand. Once more, the man spun gold and at dawn, vanished promptly. The king came the next morning and was thrilled to see an enormous quantity of gold. He married the miller's daughter. A year later, the king and queen had a lovely child. The queen had forgotten her promise to the quaint man. One day, he appeared suddenly and demanded the child. The helpless queen offered him all the riches in the kingdom and pleaded him to allow her keep her child. The man said, "All right, I will allow that on one condition. Within 3 days, you have to find out and tell me my name. If you fail..." The queen spent a sleepless night thinking of all kinds of funny and odd names. However, the quaint man heard her the next day and repeatedly said, "No, that's not my name." The next day the queen asked one of her messengers to go around the kingdom and collect odd names. Again, when the quaint man heard her, he rejected all the names. He reminded her that she had just one more day to keep her child. The messenger criss-crossed the kingdom but was unable to collect any odd name. However, he told the queen, "I was returning disappointed when I saw a quaint little house at the foot of the mountain." The messenger continued. A fire was burning in front of it and a funny little man was jumping, hopping, and dancing around the fire. And as he danced, he kept singing, "Although today I brew and bake, tomorrow the queen's own child I take. So nobody tell, for goodness sake, that my name is Rumpelstiltskin." The queen was overjoyed. When the quaint man appeared, she teased him first by telling him some funny names. The man gave wicked smiles and kept saying, "No, you are wrong." He started feeling victorious when the queen blurted out excitedly, "Your name is Rumpelstiltskin." The quaint man breathed fire as he fumed. He was very upset and angry. "Some witch has told you otherwise, how could you find out?" This is unfair, very unfair. And he stamped his right foot so hard that the leg got stuck in the ground. He pulled it with all his might and it broke into two. He then hopped away on one leg and was never ever seen again. The queen lived happily with the king and her child.